The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised. What's going on, you guys? I'm your host, Kwame, joined by Just Dominic, and we are the Unusual Mavericks.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, it has been a crazy week. Okay.
A lot of fun and exciting things.
A lot
this
of
week
a
that
lot
we
of
need
good
to break
things.
down.
Yes, we have a lot of. It may be a little bit of a longer episode today, so y'all bear with us, all right? But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and as well as liking and sharing this here. And last week, we want to thank all you guys that watched last week's episode, because it was really heartfelt to see you guys like really be engaged into last week's episode. It was really, really dope to see. So
absolutely,
yeah, just wanted to throw you guys out there.
Thank you for all the love.
Yes, all of the love
Yes.
and the support, and it's very much appreciated. So thanks for joining, and we hope you enjoy this episode. All right, so Dominic, so much to talk about.
Yes.
So with this being said, I don't think we need to labor any longer. Let's just get right on into the Maverick alert.
Correct.
Yes.
Let's just do it.
Okay. So much to talk about. All right. So, first of all, if you guys have been living under a rock, you guys may not know or may not be aware that DC was doing a regime change.
Yes.
Particularly with Warner Brothers and Discovery merging. And then there was some concerns about who was going to be the next CEO of DC Comics, specifically DCstudios. And so it was just announced because there were certain people that people were gunning for, and that, no pun intended, gun. But they had made a very crazy decision. Twitter was all ablaze last week with the co-appointment of DC's new co-CEOs, James Gunn and Peter Safran. Yes.
That is right. That is pretty
Yes.
exciting. For those that don't know who James Gunn is, then you have also been living under a rock.
Yes.
He has really kind of become super famous with his movies, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yes.
and all of his work within Marvel. But
Yes.
unfortunately, him and Disney parted ways due to, control and not being able, artists want to be able to tell the story the way they want to tell it.
Yeah.
So he came over to Warner Brothers and they snatched him up, clearly.
Snatched him up.
I think it's also great news that this is a co-CEO thing as well.
Yeah.
Because Peter is responsible for all of the successful movies that DC has put out over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
From Aquaman to Shazam to just all the good stuff that you see. His name is attached to all of that. And it's also exciting news to know that DC is now DCstudios.
Yeah.
That is a major deal. That's a major move that they had to make as well. So there's been a lot of shuffling and reshuffling and reorganizing, which explains why DC Fandom was canceled this year, which I'm still not over.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Still a little frustrated about that, but it is what it is.
That's a lot of work, though.
Yeah,
That is huge.
Yeah. But merging and creating this whole rebranded type situation and having two CEOs, which was something that I personally wasn't expecting. I did not know they were going to do this. Oh, sorry. I think my mic is out. Okay, I did not know that they were going to do this. I think this was really, first of all, I don't, at first I was like, huh. You know what I mean?
It wasn't just naming a new head of the department. They had to. They purchased studio, land, lots.
Yeah.
That's a whole big deal.
This was a complete rebranding of DC.
Yes.
And reshuffling, restructuring, and all that stuff. And I have worked with organizations and companies before that, you know, in terms of helping them restructure and rebrand. And so I know the amount of work that it takes, and especially something on that scale. Yeah. I can totally understand why DC fandom wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense.
But congratulations to DC.
Seriously.
And DCstudios now, the new DCstudios. Yeah. So we're excited about all that's coming out.
And I'm excited because I feel like it's going to be a very well-balanced situation, because we talked about it before, I think last week, about like, you know, the differences of why having someone who was very business-oriented and someone who was super creative, why that balance was important. Yes. And I think I mentioned last week about how, you know, me coming from a dance background and just having an artistic director and an executive or business director, you know, be on the team to kind of help kind of navigate budgets and creative projects and stuff like that, because it does help. And I think they are going to have that type of relationship where James Gunn is going to be very creative. And not to say that Peter Safran is not going to be creative, but I think Peter Safran is more, it's speculated that he is more of a kind of a business oriented, like he's very careful about the budget. Yeah. And so I think that, first of all, I think that makes Zaslav very happy, because he is a finance person. So he's been very adamant about like budgets and things of that nature. So as you've told me in our past conversations.
Yeah, and Zaffron has been really good about abiding within that
and still making dope stuff.
Money.
Yeah, and making dope content.
They really care about is just that money. Yes, and really great content, because Aquaman, if you enjoyed it or not, I find it hard that you wouldn't enjoy it.
I don't understand why you wouldn't enjoy Aquaman.
But it was a very well done movie. And even this latest movie, Black Adam, has recently grossed a little bit more than $250 million. And it's only been out for 2
Congratulations,
weeks.
Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, that's
my God.
And the production company and everything that's going on at DC. We're really excited about those things. So yes. So that is our Maverick alert.
Well, we have a couple of other things on it. Sorry.
More juice.
Yes, more juice. So we also wanted to talk about the kind of speculations on the Flash. Because for those who do not know, kind of a little recap on Ezra Miller and the concerns that people have been having about them. And Ezra, I am not a big fan of Ezra, only because I feel like they really damaged a lot of the brand of the Flash, and we had a lot of pushback and a lot of restructuring and or reshuffling rather of the shows. Like the Flash should have came out before Black Adam.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that it didn't.
Why do you say that?
I think we should have. I think this leading the way with Black Adam is really smart. Only because all of the members, the soft reboot.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill was not attached officially. Gal Gadot was barely attached. I don't even think she had another movie in the can. So I believe that she did a new contract. Ben Affleck did a new contract. So it would have been a very watered down Flashpoint movie. So I would have been very unsatisfied, because I'm a huge Flashpoint fan. And for those that have not seen the animated movie, you need to check it out.
Oh my God.
It is a classic.
It's so good.
It is very well done.
Yeah.
And if you can't get me nowhere next to that, nowhere close to that, then I don't want to see
it. We don't want it.
So yeah, prior, I don't think it would have. But now that everybody's contracts are inked and the ink is drying, then let's do this thing for real.
Yeah, for sure. And so I can see that, but I just feel like a lot of the publicity issues, a lot of the conversation, a lot of the stress that went around the Flash and it being pushed back happened definitely because of Ezra Miller, and I'm just, I'm interested to see how they're going to shuffle things.
I think
around.
Walter Armada, the former head of DC, had a lot to do with the failures over the past 5 years.
I have no comment about him
because he did not want Jon Stewart, the only black African American Green Lantern.
Let me say
to
this.
ever see the light of day. And as soon as he left, DC released an animated film.
Yes,
starring
which
him.
we're going to get into. But let me say this about Amada.
And it did very well.
Extremely well. Let me say this about Amada. Don't you ever come back to DC. Don't you ever work in this town again. You'll never work in this town again. No, let me tell you, I personally think that he was a major hindrance to the DC building of the DC universe.
Yes.
Major hindrance.
Him and that whole regime.
All of y'all, I'm so glad that, and people were questioning Zaslav and stuff like that. I was one of them. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
I wasn't. I saw his vision.
That's great. But for me, I was already traumatized by Amada and what he did and stuff like that. Because you have to remember, like, DC, Marvel, these are really close things to people like us. You know what I'm saying? To fans, and the way that it was navigated was atrocious. The way that they handled the contracts with Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot and a lot of the other cast with Cyborg, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just disgusting how they were treated, at least from a fan point of view. I don't know exactly. We weren't there in the room, so I don't know what was going on, but it was not a comfortable situation.
And from all the reports, and for those that people who are like, well, Marvel's better anyway, what you don't realize is that movie that you all saw, the Justice League movie, was directed by Josh Whedon, I believe is his name, how you say that. And he's the guy who did all the Avenger movies that we love. But when he came over on this side of town, it got allegedly very disrespectful, very aggressive, and it was a very toxic work environment, especially for those people of color. Very interesting. But that's all allegedly, y'all. That's all allegedly.
Well, let me say this also. I want to make it very clear that that's one of the reasons why the Unusual Mavericks exists, is because we don't have a voice in a lot of comic issues, and we're not really highlighted. So I want to make sure that we're not just talking about Marvel's racial undertones that they've had, you know, and how they navigate things, but we're also talking about DC. DC's not innocent of it all.
No, we're gonna check them all.
We're gonna check them all. We're very neutral part. None of them are paying us, but if you want to, feel free. But none of them are paying us. None of them are giving us sponsorships. We're telling our own kind of feelings and opinions on it. And there's gonna be times where Dominic and I disagree on a particular thing, which we'll get into soon. I think today's main topic is gonna be very intense, but stay tuned for that. But you mentioned the Green Lantern, and let me tell you something. When the Green Lantern situation came up, we both didn't even know it was coming on. Like, I don't even think that we really paid attention to the fact that the Green Lantern was coming on
I
HBO
saw
Max.
the trailer for a couple of weeks, so I knew it was coming.
But we weren't like, it didn't hit us that it was like last week though.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll just go with that. But yeah, okay. I do know that the timing is very suspect. And I love that. I love how shady DC or James Gunn or Peter is to release that movie as soon as Walter was on his way out of the door. And really, before he was out the door, they had ordered that movie. So the press for it was a little weird because whatever reason, Walter did not feel comfortable seeing a black John Stewart or Green Lantern. So it appears. Because he completely removed, allegedly, okay, we'll go with allegedly. He removed John Stewart from the Snyder Cut, which is very well documented, and completely shelved John Stewart from any project connected to the Green Lantern. And the moment he was let go, walked out,
disgusting.
John Stewart is now a main part in a main discussion. And there are major talks that he is going to get his own animated series.
As he should. Because let me tell you something about John Stewart. The John Stewart Green Lantern, and if you guys have let me tell you something. I am a huge Marvel fan, but DC's animation is far superior.
It is
than anything that I have
actually.
seen when it comes to superhero animation.
Yes.
DC's animation studios, like what they do, how they build the story, this Green Lantern HBO Max property that just came out, amazing. It looks like moving art. I was captivated. I had to watch it twice because I was captivated. First of all, the storyline was just genius, and I believe it's super comic book accurate.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two,
a veteran. Yeah.
Oh my God. Number two, it was visually stunning because it looks like how it looks in the comics.
Yeah. It looks like a comic book, a moving
comic book, and it's so well drawn. It's so well animated. It is
the
really
acting was very well done as well.
My God.
Yeah.
Like the acting was insane. It was a very, so if you guys have not checked out the Green Lantern on HBO, is the John Legend.
Check it out.
Now there's another Green Lantern series that's on there. It's with Hal Jordan. And
it's very well done.
Very well done. I thought that was really good as well.
And it's connected to Young Justice
Yes.
for those Young Justice
Yes.
fans as well.
Yes, because watching that Green Lantern with Hal Jordan, that series made me understand Razor a little more, because I didn't, when I saw him first, I was like, so I didn't understand. So I had to go back and watch the old Green, it's not really old, but you know, it's old enough. The Green Lantern series with Hal Jordan on HBO Max. But this new Jon Stewart Green Lantern is just epic.
It's a movie. And they're talking about, they're in pre-production for the series.
Yeah, which is going to be epic.
Yes.
Because we got to see Vixen in there, which first of all, underrated character. Vixen is underrated character. She is amazing.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
Yes.
Black Queen, okay? Just fierce.
She is the Black Panther of DC. I've said that before, but yes. She's really
the female
awesome.
Black Panther of DC. Yeah, for sure.
She actually has more power than he does.
Does. And then what else? We have Martian was in there.
Martian
Green Arrow.
Yes.
So it was a really good
Hawk Girl.
Oh my God.
And Adam Strange, and that's a character that is not very beloved because he's kind of a side character.
But he also wasn't really talked about, because I didn't really know too much about Adam Strange until this series, and you broke it down for me. Yeah,
I knew of him, but he's, if you get a comic book, and if it's a Superman comic book or something like that, if it's a 20-page comic book, the 15 pages are going to be dedicated to Superman, and then the backstory that's disconnected will be related to a character like this. And I've always liked those characters.
Yeah, because you learn something new each time about it.
Yeah, so it's not Dr. Stephen Strange from Marvel. It is Adam Strange from DC. So.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where they go with Green Lantern. I'm really like this Jon Stewart Green Lantern. And you got to see how powerful he was, because I think Jon Stewart is the most powerful Green Lantern, actually, how they wrote him.
I believe he is. I don't know if he's listed as the most powerful, but he's listed as maybe top tier.
Well, because in the movie, they said that Hal Jordan was the most powerful, but he died. But Jon Stewart learned way faster than he did how to use his ring. Jon Stewart, his constructs were way stronger.
He did not have a teacher. Hal Jordan did
not have a teacher, and he
became like top level.
Yeah,
like one of the most powerful ever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll venture to say that Jon Stewart is the most powerful Green Lantern, but
that's something we can actually argue, because he is literally up there at the top.
Yeah.
So
So
I think he had more discipline than Hal Jordan because of his military background.
Yes.
And it made him.
But Hal Jordan was a pilot. He was in the Air Force.
Correct. But
was he a contractor for?
No.
Was he a contractor?
No. I think was he Air Force or was he a contractor?
Jordan.
I think he was military. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Let's see. Oh yes, he Hal joined the U.S. Air Force.
He was a flyboy.
Yeah, he's a flyboy. Yeah.
So yeah,
He's a
but
fighter
that's
pilot.
a different mentality, and they always show that as a different mentality than an actual soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Jon Stewart was a Marine or in the Army. So that's a whole different experience, an officer versus a master sergeant or you know, that, and anybody who's been in the military knows that there is a difference there. So yeah, I was very pleased to see the other side of the military being represented also in DC Comics, and by such an outstanding. amazing
Jon
black
Stewart
man.
was actually enlisted in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, Marines.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I thought he was Army.
I wasn't. When I said Army earlier, I was like, nah, that don't sound right. He was a
makes
Marine.
sense. That makes sense
Yeah.
because the way, that's another story. That's another conversation. But yeah, he definitely, he was in the Marines. It's saying.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and for those who love veterans and who are veterans, and family of veterans, those who are listed and serving right now, and that movie was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know it's animation and but it really also brought a lot of real truth, like PTSD. They kind of touched on that as well. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have so much more coming up. Thanks for joining on this Maverick Alert. Stay tuned because we're going to be talking about our predictions, because Black Panther Wakanda Forever is coming out this week, right? Or maybe next?
It is coming out next week.
It's coming out next week. We're going to be talking about that and our predictions and our kind of reviews on it and what we feel about it. And also some stuff on Stargirl. We just saw the latest episode of Stargirl.
Yes.
And if you guys are keeping up with Stargirl DC. And then was there anything else that we're going to talk about?
Oh, we're going to talk about a bevy
of things.
We got to talk about Loki. We're going to talk about The Flash.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Titans, Doom Patrol, just so much good stuff.
So stay tuned. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit longer of an episode. So
stay with us.
Stay with us. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Hey there, Unusual Mavericks. Got a quick question for you. Can you name the most underrated African American or Black comic book characters in the DC universe? Is it A, Vixen? Is it B, Michael Holt, better known as Mr. Terrific? C, Raquel Irvin, better known as Rocket? Or Bronze Tiger? Or E, all of the above?
All right, and we're back. Thank you guys so much for chilling with us and checking out our sponsors and stuff. So shout out to Bullet and Flight Radio, the #1 progressive Christian radio station in the world, as well as Pyro Media Productions. All right, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes, Wakanda forever.
So, I am a huge Black Panther fan. Okay, I probably saw the first Black Panther in theaters, like went to go pay it, at least 8 or 9 times. That was just at least 8 or 9 times because I was super excited about it, and I have been always a big fan of Black Panther and Storm when I was younger. So always like a huge fan of that. Black Panther was one of the first Black superheroes that I got a chance to be introduced. I was actually introduced to Black Panther before I was introduced to Storm.
Yeah.
And so, and probably around the same time, but regardless, Black Panther was I vividly remember a Black Panther comic being one of the first comics that I saw. Cool. That along with probably Superman and Batman. But Black Panther is everything for me. So I was really excited when they did Black Panther, the first one.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace. And I did not know how they were going to navigate Black Panther 2. But we have our thoughts. And I want to preface this by saying that these are our own thoughts. These are our own thoughts. We may agree or disagree on it, and that's fine. Nobody's paying us. We're not sponsored by Marvel. We're not sponsored by DC. We're not none of that.
Nope. We're just two unusual Mavericks.
Two unusual Mavericks,
right.
Okay? Who stay unusual. So, this conversation might get a little heated because Dominic and I don't see eye to eye on this, on everything. So, go ahead, Dominic. What are your thoughts?
No, well, I feel like what we've seen within the trailers and within all the leaks, that this movie is going to be more,
which I'm not happy about,
or so, of a memorial service for the actor and for the character, and that is very sad to me. And I always think that comic books, the best thing that it has done for me in my life has been it's been an escape from reality. It's supposed to be a place to escape from a lot of issues, and a place where you can overcome, your people can overcome, at least and be victorious. So to see all the death, all the tragedy, all the trauma that they are introducing into Wakanda and within the royal family is just a downer, and it's kind of traumatizing to me as well. So it's like, I'm gonna see it because I feel like I have to see it, and I'm hoping that it is not as sad as I think it's going to be. So because T'Challa, in my opinion, is that one brother that gets away. Okay, his people, they're not subjected by the white man or colonization and all of that, and to know that the character Black Panther is going to die in this particular installment, to me, is a downer, and his sister has to completely and fully take over. That's something that we always see within Black stories and the Black community, that the Black man constantly gets shot down and the Black woman has to take up the slack. So I am not necessarily looking forward to this particular storyline. Do I want to see Wakanda? Do I want to see Black Panther? Yes. I love everything that it represents. Everything that it represents. But it just bothers me to see that the head, this Black man, first he lost his father, a white man killed him. Y'all remember that, right? And now it looks like a white man killed T'Challa. So it's just like, we have this police brutality. We as Black men constantly see ourselves gunned down in the streets and always receiving the short end of the stick. So I'm hoping that this is going to be an uplifting story, more so than a Debbie Downer, so to speak. And like I say, due to all the leaks that have come out concerning this movie, there's going to be even more people dying, allegedly, and some of your favorite characters. So it's like, I'm just bracing myself. That's how I feel.
So I hear him. I do hear you on this, and I agree that I don't feel like the T'Challa storyline is ended. And I feel like we barely got a chance to experience that storyline, to experience, the King of Wakanda, reign.
We didn't experience him. We didn't experience a beautiful Black love story between him and Storm. Which I was really wanting to see on camera.
But I'm saying all this because I don't feel like his storyline has ended. And although we miss Chadwick, and I do think that Chadwick was a phenomenal actor, and I think that he represented the story of T'Challa very, very well. I do not think that Disney should use this as, or even Marvel Studios should use this as an excuse to end his storyline.
I agree.
Because I do agree with Dominic in the sense that we need to continue his storyline. We need to show more representation in that. Absolutely. And I am a little frustrated that, here's my prediction on it, because I think this is what is giving me hope for, because I feel like as far as a producer, as someone who has produced, you have produced before, productions before, so you know that the audience opinion is everything.
Yes.
And so for me, there was no way that Disney or Marvel Studios was going to get out of not being able to pay any type of homage to Chadwick Boseman. There was no way that they were going to do that, because if they did, then we would have looked at them and said, okay, well, you're not even going to have respect for Chadwick's memory, even though he was not the end all be all of T'Challa. He was just an actor who played him. At the end of the day, people looked at him as T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of discussion on that. There's a faction of Black Panther fans that looked at Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. It's just like, when we see Captain Janeway on Star Trek, you look at that actress as Captain Janeway. The same thing goes with Picard or any of our favorite characters. Like, for a long time, people looked at Christopher Reeves as Superman, and when he hurt his back or whatever, or his back was broken and he wasn't able to do movies anymore and became paralyzed, like, that was a huge hit to the Superman fans. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I do think they should have did a better job of transitioning, and I'm hoping that this is just a transition movie, and that when we see Black Panther 3, that we see a new T'Challa, that we see some type of transition in the Black Panther story. Because Shuri, as much as I love Shuri, I really do. I really love all of the women in Black Panther. I really think that this is a great way, and I think that they should do a spinoff of Dora Milaje, to be quite honest with you. But that's just my personal opinion.
Which is happening on
yes.
Disney Plus.
Yes, but is it a cartoon, or is it going to be?
No, it's a series.
Okay, so that would be dope. But regardless of all of that, I think that's a great way for this. Then that further leads me to believe that this is a transition movie. Like, just say that this is a transition movie for us, because one of the issues that I've had with DC, and I'm going to throw this out there with Marvel, is that they communicate horribly with the fans. That, and before, Marvel did a great job at appealing to the fans by creating this universe, but then DC fell apart with that. Like, but now DC has done a phenomenal job at Black Adam was a perfect example of that. Like, just listening to the fans and what they want, how they interpreted certain things. Like, I think that Black Adam was phenomenal in that way. And I think Dwayne Johnson did a phenomenal job at getting that together. However, there were still some things that, I'm looking at DC at side eye about, like, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? So the same thing kind of goes with Marvel. My point is that I feel like this is going to be a movie that is going to transition. We're going to pay homage to Chadwick, and then we need to move on. Like, I feel like that's good, because at the end of the day, if you're going to let Black Panther die with Chadwick, then that is a cop-out for me. So for me, one of the issues that I think would happen is if they don't move on from this and they let Black Panther or hit the T'Challa storyline and character die with Chadwick, then you're not doing any justice to it, and you're not giving any honor to Chadwick's memory, because he was very passionate about this project. He was very passionate about this character, and he wanted it to be a representation. People were so happy to see him be Black Panther, and it wasn't just because he was Black Panther, it was because what Black Panther represented. And so if you let him die, let the T'Challa storyline die with Chadwick, I would really be frustrated. I would be really frustrated. So I get that, But my problem,
and that's the point I was making in the beginning.
yes, and I hear that,
Exactly
but
that.
but one of the issues on the flip side of it, one of the issues that I have is that oftentimes what we do as a culture is that once we go and target something and we say, oh, we're not happy with this little thing, we completely cancel it. And that frustrates me because at the end of the day, my fear in us doing that and just saying, oh, well, to hell with, Black Panther because we don't, Chadwick's not in it, or to hell with Black Panther because, Siri is going to be the new Black Panther, whatever, for this particular movie. My problem with that is that we don't support it. I don't want to give the powers that be any type of reason or excuse to not fund another Black Panther movie. That's my only concern and frustration behind it.
Yeah, and so far it doesn't look like anyone's trying to boycott the movie. There is a huge outcry for the recasting of Black Panther, and it's almost like a 50-50 thing right now. There's a huge online movement because a lot of people feel just like I feel, is you can't let the legacy die. Yes,
yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
We mourn the loss of the actor and the person, the human being, but we have to keep moving.
Yeah.
And because this is really a part of civil rights movement. And I know it's comic book and all, but this is representation for our people.
Yeah.
And that, again, was the point that I was making at the top of this particular discussion is, yes, we lost the actor, but we cannot lose T'Challa. We cannot lose Black Panther. And I believe Chadwick would want someone with Black excellence, just as he had, pass the torch to that particular person to keep this legacy going and keep this legacy alive. So let's do that, Marvel.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to recast in the sense and how they're going to write that into the story, whether it be a doppelganger or even another different universe.
They could do a million different things.
It's Marvel. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, this is a fantasy thing. You know what I'm saying? So
and they just introduced magic big time into the universe.
Yeah, and so there's so many things that you can do. And first of all, how did Siri get powers? How is she going to be? This is one of the things that I'm interested in. How is she going to be a Black Panther when all of the purple herb was
destroyed? Burned, correct.
Because of Killmonger. In the last movie. Yeah. So I'm very confused as to how that happened. I'm interested to see how they're going to translate this story. Yeah. I know that this is going to introduce a bigger type of situation with there's hints of Doctor Doom. Working out in the background.
Absolutely.
Namor is going to be on there, which I'm super interested in. Super interested in seeing him on there. And how they're going to tell his story, because he was very integral in the
T'Challa storyline.
In T'Challa's storyline. So I don't understand how he's not in there.
Get around it. You can't get around it.
Yeah, we need to get T'Challa back, in some way, shape, or form. And I just don't want. I don't want there to be a misconception that even though we're upset that Chadwick passed, I don't want it for us to smash this by not helping it succeed. So that's my only concern. And then another thing is that I'm still excited to watch it because I'm a Black Panther fan and I'm interested to know all things Wakanda. I just loved how they told the story. And Marvel still, in my personal opinion, from a production standpoint, still beats DC when it comes to visual dynamics or visually dynamic kind of presentation. So that's just me. So I'm really interested. I love how beautiful Wakanda looked when we first went into Black Panther, the first Black Panther, and we saw Wakanda just displayed. It was gorgeous. And so I'm interested in seeing how they're going to, expand this world, how they're going to bring in, Namor and all this stuff, whatever. So I'm interested to see it. I just don't mess this up, Marvel. don't mess
Give
this up.
Give us a new T'Challa.
Don't mess up, because I'm telling you right now,
it's a new T'Challa.
As a diehard Marvel fan, we're running a little low. Okay, we're running a little low. We're a little tired of your mess. Okay, I need you to fix it. Yeah. Okay, fix it, Jesus.
Because this Phase 4 was not as.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle.
As Marvel led us to believe in the beginning, it was not what we all anticipated. So
yeah.
And speaking of TV and Marvel TV, mainly Phase 4 was a lot of TV with the Loki series, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that whole series, and Hawk. No, it wasn't Hawkeye. It was Falcon and whatever. It was
Winter
called.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That TV series that they did. So it was whatever it was, whatever, y'all know the name of it if I had named it incorrectly. But those series kind of were a little bit like Miss Marvel as well, was a little lackluster. It kind of hit, and then it was like, yeah. So,
all of those series.
That was Phase 4. So the ending of this Phase 4
the only
is
two
Wakanda
that I
Forever,
enjoyed
so.
really, I enjoyed WandaVision, loved WandaVision.
Yes.
It started off a little confusing and slow to me, but it ended off pretty well.
Yeah.
Loki,
Outstanding.
that was good.
Actually.
Captain America, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, whatever name that was. That series, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't
good.
It wasn't the best. And the ratings showed that within Phase 4 as well.
And She-Hulk, I'm still mad about She-Hulk, y'all. You climbed out of the entire show, girl, and changed everything. We spent an entire season.
She became a Karen in that episode. That
whole
was
Karen.
So weird to me.
So mad. And then she slept with everybody in that mama.
I was, she had some self-insecurity issues.
She took the Marvel universe and just spread it all over her vajayjay.
She put the Marvel universe on its back a little.
She was on her back.
But Daredevil was anyway. So
and he was a bad whore too.
There was a lot of friendly activity, which
You so nice.
Look,
I am not getting invited to the Marvel parties. I know you will.
I'm just hoping that Phase 5 is going to be better for Marvel for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So anyway, we have to take a quick break. So it appears.
Yeah.
And we will be right back.
We'll be back with some reviews.
Yeah,
y'all hang on.
We'll talk about TV next.
Yes.
Hey there, Unusual Mavericks. Got a quick question for you. Can you name the most underrated African American or Black comic book characters in the DC universe? Is it A, Vixen? Is it B, Michael Holt, better known as Mr. Terrific? C, Raquel Irvin, better known as Rocket, or Bronze Tiger? Or E, all of the above? The answer right after this quick break. Hey there, Unusual Mavericks. Can you tell me who are the most underrated Black or African American comic book characters in the DC universe? The answer is, you guessed it, all of the above.
And we are back.
Yes.
From break. And so let's get into some TV reviews.
Yes.
Some of the upcoming stuff that is coming to both Marvel and DC. And first, I do want to say really quick about Marvel Phase 4. Some of the shows and movies we did not forget about Black Widow or the what was it?
Hawkeye.
Hawk. Yeah.
That I didn't even bother watching the rest of it. I only saw the first episode. It was trash.
Yeah, it wasn't so good.
It was horrible.
But hopefully this new phase with Marvel is going to be strong with the Loki series, season 2 coming back. I know that they just had that werewolf special.
Oh, I didn't see that. Did you like that?
I did. I watched it twice, and I actually really enjoyed it because they showed Man-Thing, and he was all throughout that, and so I was really happy about that. And Werewolf, who I think is Werewolf. I think that's the same person. And the lady in red, I forgot her name, but they're all a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., like the dark part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so I was happy to see those characters. So in the end, it was actually very good. I thought it's black and white. It's set up to like a vintage Vincent Price type of movie, and so I grew up watching that kind of stuff and being a fan of it. So it's a departure from Marvel, but it's really good in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, other shows. Let's talk about, of course, they are filming the final season of The Flash.
Yes.
Season 9, the final season, with our beautiful Black Iris, played by the talented Candice Patton.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because I do. I've got some thoughts on this final season. I'm very excited about it.
So just in hearing some of the other comic influencers on YouTube and YouTubers talking about some of the speculations that they have and thoughts, I'm interested to seeing this Flash. I haven't been a big Flash fan only because of I'm not really a big Arrowverse fan. But the Flash, out of all of them, I enjoyed some of the seasons that I did watch. So I think I'm gonna give, well, first of all, not just because I'm an unusual Maverick, but we have to watch it and review it. But I think I'm excited about watching it. So cool. I'm interested in the story arc that they have with Red Death. Yes. Which I didn't really know the backstory of Red Death until I actually delved into some of the other YouTubers out there that were talking. Yeah, and I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. And I didn't know about that. So
very interesting character. Yeah. And to see Javicia Leslie come back from, who was the star of Batwoman.
Yes.
She was the open African-American lesbian that took over the title role of Batwoman.
Yes.
Brand new character they created called Ryan Wilder. And that was never part of the Batman franchise, but now she is officially a part of the Batman franchise in comic book form as well. So not just TV, CW, she is a part of the comic book lore now. So that's very exciting. To see her come back and play a villainess is super exciting. And shout out to one of the first and only openly Black female gay characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
more Black queer representation, please. Thanks.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting take to see because her show just got canceled. Yeah. She didn't even know her show was getting canceled, and it was doing well in the ratings.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the Arrowverse. I was a big fan of the Arrowverse for the past 10 years. Now that graphics have changed, CGI has changed, things are winding down, and the Flash is the wind down to that era.
Yeah.
And now we're going into Superman and Lois and Stargirl era, and
can we talk about Stargirl?
It's just amazing. I mean, every episode looks like a movie now. So I like that.
Stargirl, this latest, I've noticed it heavily in season 3. Y'all did that with that anime or with the filter you guys are using, the cutaways, the panning, just the video lighting, production over everything. The lighting is perfect. But the way you guys are really kind of readjusting how Stargirl is, it does seem season 1 it's a dramatic. Well, season 2 did a pretty transition.
All of them. Every single season is a standalone.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is as far as video production is concerned, season 1 I did not enjoy video production wise because it reminded me of the same old CW issue that I have with a lot of the cheesy kind of animation. But season one is important because it gives all the backstories and the storylines and character development for everything. So don't get me wrong, you need to get through season 1. Season 2,
yeah, what he's talking about is a very minor thing, and it's not something that most people will pay attention to.
Yeah, I'm just a video production geek, so some people may not even notice it, but you can see the difference in as it goes in each season. Like season 2, there's there's a shift. But season 3, if you were to watch season 1 and season 3, there is a distinct difference in its video production. The lens, the clarification of everything, how they navigate things, there is a distinct difference.
And not just that, but there's a distinction in how the actors play the characters.
Oh yeah, and the writing.
They are so comfortable. The writers are comfortable with the characters. It seems like everything is hand in glove. And a special shout out to the actress who plays Beth.
Yes.
On Stargirl. She is a geek. She is a hacker and computer programmer, and she is just a little genius.
Yes.
And just so cute. Oh my gosh.
She's actually really adorable.
So cute.
Oh, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her name, but it's Angelica Washington.
Correct.
Who plays Beth Chapel.
Angelica.
The modern day Dr.
Midnight. Yes.
Dr. Midnight.
And yes, she's comic book accurate in every single way. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just this little integral piece of that cast. So definitely shout out to her. And I'm so happy that because in one iteration of the comic book, she dies pretty early on. So I'm very happy that in this iteration, including in the new comic book, she's alive.
I was doing some research on that because you told me about that before. And I looked. That comic is dark.
It's very dark. for people who love thrillers and horror stories, that sort of thing, Stargirl sounds like something for kids, but it's not.
It's really not.
It's really not, guys.
That comic is super dark.
It's an amazing comic book series with a lot of amazing characters and spin-off characters. That whole universe deserves respect.
It's a huge juxtaposition of how the Stargirl CW is. Like the storylines, the way that they navigate, like it's really dark.
And
it's really
being
dark.
that the CW technically does not exist anymore,
well,
it's Next Star, new owners, new material, new everything, a new regime, period. All new owners, new.
I cannot wait for Stargirl to fully go over to HBO Max because I just you can tell that
season
HBO
4
Max,
in May.
Yeah,
because they're filming Stargirl season 4 right now, and it is literally being filmed through HBO Max. Stargirl is supposed to be appearing in a crossover episode with the Titans and Doom Patrol. Something like that. There's a report that she's going. So I believe that's also why they made all of the shots, the filters, all of those things look and match.
Yeah.
Because same producer, Jeff Jones, is really doing his thing.
Yeah.
And shout out to him. He's from Detroit. He's from Detroit. So
Detroit.
I always try to give shots out to all of my Detroit brothers and sisters.
Nice.
I mean, he's a white guy, but still.
Yeah. So this latest episode of Stargirl.
Yeah.
What's going on, Unusual Mavericks? We just want to take a quick pause because we received information after we finished filming that unfortunately the CW Stargirl has been officially canceled. We do not know if HBO Max is going to pick it up. We do hope so, but as of right now, it was just announced after we filmed that the CW Stargirl series has been canceled. But back to our regular scheduled show.
So good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
More Green Lantern,
yes.
more representation. Actually, I believe the characters that they just introduced are Hawaiian.
Yeah, or Pacific Islander. Yeah. And it's really interesting. And also, I love how, which I'm very happy that they're moving over to HBO Max, because then I feel like they're going to have a little bit more, expansion in how it is, because I feel like this new company that's taken over CW, which the CW doesn't exist anymore, is really conservative.
They're very
and
conservative,
it's really
evangelical.
Yeah, and I don't see. If they were to keep Stargirl, I don't see it going.
I agree. If they want to do a
direction.
proper story of Stargirl, because we've already talked about how dark it can be.
Yeah.
And if they want to do a proper story of Stargirl and really respect all the characters, then they should properly move over to HBO Max.
Yeah.
And there is no word yet if Stargirl is going to be renewed on the former network, CW, or whatever they're going to call themselves, Next Star Network or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they keep them and just move them over, but we shall see.
We
It
shall.
shall happen.
We shall.
I'm looking forward to Titans too. I know we talked about that, Brother Blood, but Doom Patrol is coming out, and they're not really talking about that just yet. But that latest season could be their last season. Their 4th season could be their last season.
I would be very upset.
We don't know yet, but
I would be very upset.
Pretty promising though. They've done a cast change. Timothy Dalton was at the head of the cast, and now he's gone, and so they hired
a cyborg.
No. Timothy Dalton was the schoolmaster. He was in the wheelchair.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, so he has officially left the cast.
Why? Do we know why?
Well, I guess according to the comic books, he doesn't stay around forever.
Oh, it's just it's story related.
It's story related. Okay, I thought it sounds like. I believe it's story related. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. I know that Titans.
But what's her name? What's her name?
Atlanta,
there was a storyline with the. Oh no, but that was last season. Never mind, because they closed that out. Yeah.
Right, and they transitioned leadership.
Yeah.
And so this new actress, she comes from Doctor Who, that series that ran like 1 million years. Mm-hmm. She was a big deal on that.
Yeah.
And she has quite a cult following. So she has now joined the cast. So we'll see how this runs, because Doom Patrol sometimes can be a little inconsistent.
Yeah.
But it is super duper
so
crazy
good.
And amazing.
And there's so much that has been left untold. Like, I still don't know what's going on with what's the girl with the multiple personalities? Jane. I don't know what's going on with that situation.
If you guys haven't checked that out, please check out Doom Patrol, because they have a character named Jane.
She's my favorite.
She is, she's cool,
my favorite,
actually. And she's schizophrenic, and every single personality has a different power, a different meta power,
yeah.
And they are all like a council.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see. And some of her personalities have died now, and they're bringing new personalities out to the surface. So
which is so strange to me, because how is she able to create all of those different powers? Like, it's just really interesting to me. Her character is so interesting.
Well, that doctor gave all of her personalities different powers. So Jane doesn't even know all of her personalities, it sounds. I think she has like, somebody will have to tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe she has like 30 to 40 different personalities.
I don't know.
And every single one of them has a meta power. So yeah, she is very interesting. And she's really kind of new to Doom Patrol, actually. I believe that character was created in the 80s or 90s. And Doom Patrol as a whole is very old. I don't know, I think 50s. It was created in the 50s as a queer comic book series for DC. So it's kind of ahead of its time. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's definitely gonna be a show. So I'm looking forward. I really hope that they continue on with that show.
Yeah, they've got a lot.
Good. Yeah.
That Peacemaker has now been greenlit for season 2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And if you haven't seen that, it sounds like, we talked about this before, and Kwame said, "Oh, it sounded like it was gonna be this honky tonk, whatever."
It's so
but
good.
It is not.
No,
that
it's so good
at all. And Viola Davis is a part of that series as well, for people who love Viola Davis.
Yeah.
So and she is just outstanding as Amanda Waller. I did not want her to play Amanda Waller.
I didn't either.
I wanted CCH Pounder. I believe she did the voiceover work for Justice League Unlimited, Batman, everything. CCH Pounder, I believe.
Oh yes,
CCH Pounder.
Carol Kristen Hilaria Pounder.
She is outstanding. We have seen her in live action in so many roles for years. So I thought, why not bring her to life? And then Amanda Waller is also in the comic books. She's kind of thick and pudgy and short and kind of manly looking. They kind of draw her that way. And then the Rebirth, they drew her.
She would have been a really good
she
Amanda Waller.
Literally
looks like her.
Kinds of look like her. She's more feminine than how they draw her.
Yes. Yes.
But she would have represented perfectly.
Because I would not want to be in the dark alley with Amanda Waller.
Because there's somebody on the rooftop with something looking at you.
Just her alone. I would not want to be in the dark alley with her.
And scary. She's not crazy. She's scary. She's scary as
Yeah.
y'all know what.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's crazy. But I am looking forward to these new shows.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Viola Davis, the Woman King, the goddess herself.
She is amazing.
She is just killing this, and she's
She's
in
doing it.
everything DC too.
Yeah,
She's getting her coins
stunning.
right there.
She is stunning, and like just a stunning actress. Just overall, like I just think that she just is just a stunning actress.
She really is. She really is.
Yeah.
Because I actually wanted Vanessa Williams to play Amanda Waller back in the day, because they have a different version of Amanda Waller where she's like beautiful and
I can see her because you know
she's still crazy though.
she's so crazy. I can see her playing Amanda
She would have
Waller.
killed it.
She would have.
How she portrayed Wilhelmina on Ugly Betty.
Yeah.
She was hilarious,
Yeah.
my God.
I would have liked to see her, even though not Glenn Close, who played Miranda Priestley,
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Oh my God. Take my card. But no, Meryl Streep was phenomenal in Devil Wears Prada. But it would have been interesting to see Vanessa Williams play Miranda Priestley. I think.
Oh my God.
She would have destroyed
But she kind of did, because Ugly Betty was like
Pretty
a
much.
soft spinoff of that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And she played the character. She played that character. She brought that character
Yeah.
to life.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we ain't talking about
Sorry.
Vanessa Williams right now.
Is there anything else we have to cover?
No,
on these
that's
shows?
it. I
But-
think that.
But before we go, all right. I know that Dominic is not a Game of Thrones fan,
No.
so this is just going to be me to all of you Game of Thrones fans, and to the writers of HBO Max who produced Game of Thrones, the spinoff House of Dragons. What in the actual heck is wrong with y'all? I am trying my best not to cuss because you know we got Just Dominic on here. But let me explain something to you. I just finished watching the season finale of House of Dragons.
Was it good? Fantastic, it sounds like. Something recommended for viewers who are not into DC and Marvel. I also want to recommend Star Trek Discovery. If you haven't checked that out,
Yes,
check that out as well.
check out all things Star Trek on Paramount Plus.
But make sure you check out Discovery.
Definitely Discovery, because it's phenomenal. But that's not why I'm talking about House of Dragons. Y'all ridiculous. First of all, I don't know what was going on, and I don't know what's in the minds. This is the same question that I have for not Ryan Murphy. What's his
You're
name?
right,
Ryan Murphy from American Horror Story and stuff. You come up with some weird stuff, okay? I don't know why we have uncles and nieces and nephews doing some weird stuff, and it's very weird in the Targaryen family, okay? Very weird, very strange. But what I will say is this. The way you ended that series makes no sense. I feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasted my time.
And I
That's
think
all
it's
I'm
strange
saying.
unless you live in Kentucky. Just saying. Or Tennessee, you know. Kidding.
We're not going to isolate our Kentucky fans, but pretty much y'all weird. I don't know what to tell y'all, but those who are fans of House of Dragons and the Game of Thrones franchise itself, I have a problem, and I want you guys to put it in the comments your problems with it, because I'm sure it's the same. Ridiculous.
Yes.
The way y'all ended that was ridiculous. And then you switched up the actors and actresses, and you recast it in the middle of the season. What is going on?
Hey, they got to get that coin. They had money for that project, and nobody was going to stand in the way.
No
That is how
character
you do it.
development. Okay, we had to speed through stuff because you're trying to tell a dang on story. We had seasons of character development and growth and affinity with these characters. And of course, some of them died really quickly because that's just the way Game of Thrones is. Don't get attached to a character. But this just didn't make any sense. Very strange.
Yes. Well,
I had to get that off my chest,
Okay.
Dominic. I'm so sorry. It was too much. I watched that episode. Yeah, I sat in that room and watched it, and I stared in silence, blank, confused, befuddled, bewildered, bamboozled, and I felt lied to.
Yes. Well, but we digress. And moving back to Marvel and DC, that is all the news that we have right now, everyone.
Yes. Next week we will be reviewing. Well, I don't know if no, because Black Panther won't come out until
November 11th.
November 11th.
So we will be reviewing that, though.
Yes, because we're gonna go see it. But yes, stay tuned, you guys. We appreciate you guys checking us out and watching us. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and do all that jazz. And leave a message in the comments. Let us know you liked it and enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, any things that you want us to review or talk about, please put it in the comments. We appreciate you. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And stay unusual.
Stay unusual. Bye, guys.
Bye.